So last time we started the first section and we didn't finish it, so we're going to finish it. Yesterday we talked about why we remain faithful to God, even though we go through things that are hard.
Yes.
We're going to read from Job 1:13. There was a day when his sons and daughter were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house. And there came a messenger to Job and said, "The oxen were plowing, and the donkeys feeding beside them. And the Sabaeans fell upon them, and took them, and struck down the servants with the edge of the sword. And I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was yet speaking, there came another and said, "The fire of God fell from heaven and burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them, and I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was yet speaking, there came another and said, "The Chaldeans formed three groups and made a raid on the camels and took them and struck down the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was yet speaking, there came another and said, "Your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house. And behold, a great wind came across the wilderness and struck the four corners of the house, and it fell upon the young people, and they are dead, and I alone have escaped to tell you." Then Job arose and tore his robe and shaved his head and fell on the ground and worshipped. And he said, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." In all this, Job did not sin or charge God with wrong. Thoughts?
I think Job was a very righteous man. He had everything taken away from him, and yet he worshipped God.
It's not like God's like, it sucks to suck. No, when you lose everything, it's not like God's like, oh well, that's part of the deal. He's no, Jesus mourned with those that mourned. Even though he knew that he could bring Lazarus back, he was still crying. He still knows that it's a big deal for us when these kind of things happen, but he knows that he can help us get better.
So why do you think Job was able to have this mentality when all this suddenly happened?
Because he loved God.
Well, I know a lot of people who love God, but I don't know a lot of people who, after all of their servants and livestock and children were killed, would be like, "Well, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away."
He knew that God giveth and he take away.
So he already understood who God is. How do you think he came to that understanding?
He pondered. He searched, pondered, and prayed.
So he had a lot of faith and endurance. He probably built that up with his relationship with God over the several years. I mean, his children were probably adults or near the end of their childhood. So he's probably an older fellow.
Yeah.
He's probably had a lot of experience. No, he probably has a good relationship with God. He's spent all this time getting to know God and building his faith in God. So he should know what God is like.
So he understood a principle and he applied it to the situation.
I mean, he was still very, very upset.
Yes. Obviously, he rent his clothes, fell on the ground.
He shaved his head.
He is experiencing the full force of the pain of this moment, but it doesn't make him abandon the principle that he knows is true, that God is good, right? And also, it might signify his understanding and belief in the principle of, like, do not covet your own stuff. He believes he's consecrated, which means that he has dedicated everything to God. So all of the livestock, all of the servants, all of the children were blessings from God. He doesn't look at them as his. He looks at them as he already has consecrated them to the Lord because he believes that the Lord gave it to him. So he's the opposite of prideful. He's humble. He's meek. He's living those principles that God tells us to live, right? And you can see it in his reaction. Of course, he still has that pain and grief from loss, but he knows where it all came from in the first place. So he's feeling the loss, but he's not feeling the loss of his things. He's feeling the loss of like the love
Mm-hmm.
and what that wealth did for his people and the loss of the people, right?
So quick cue, are we saying that Job didn't happen? Because a lot of the stuff that's been said in the Come Follow Me has been acting like, it's a fable.
Right.
As have we officially decided that it is a fable?
No, because there's no way of knowing.
Okay.
This is, I think, from the very beginning, setting up this story as a conversation, like with a conversation between Satan and Jehovah. I think that sets it up as a story.
Mm.
But as with all like myths and legends that have passed down through time, it's based off of something.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the Odyssey, since I'm reading it right now, is on my mind.
Good book.
All of these fantastical things happen in the Odyssey. He meets a Cyclops. All these gods and goddesses are doing all this stuff. He runs across the sirens, and there's all these mythical beasts and monsters and all these things. Who's to say that a man named Odysseus didn't go fight in the Trojan War, and then on his way home got marooned on an island, and then got sidetracked by this, and then ran into a man with one eye who was a cannibal on some island. And like it's possible that he did have certain things happen along the way that kind of kept him from getting home, that after being passed down and told, or like Homer the author, maybe he exaggerated, or maybe he fantasized it or something like that. But it's possible that there was a man named Odysseus who went on an odyssey to get home, right? So when we apply that same formula to the book of Job, it's like, was there a Job?
I think so.
I think this is a true story. I just think the very beginning wasn't quite exactly.
Is it a true story that has artistic license applied to it?
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's quite Aesop stuff, but I think it's probably closer to the Odyssey.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if anybody can know for sure, but
God knows for sure.
But I think that we can know that it's here to kind of be, to teach us something. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I know people who have had horrible things happen to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not unheard of for all this horrible stuff that happened to someone. And I don't know, I think that if you reflect on your life and compare it to the stories of the Bible, you could actually find how your life has reflected certain story arcs in the Bible. You know, Job, I've had Job moments. I think that like Job is a book that if you reflect on it and try to find it in your own life, you can also use the lessons that are made from it and apply them to what you're experiencing. Because there is going to probably come a moment in your life where you experience extreme suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're a disciple of Christ. You're going to probably have your Job era. Okay, we're going to read Job 2. So again, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them to present himself before the Lord. And the Lord said to Satan, "From where have you come?" Satan answered the Lord and said, "From going to and fro on the earth and from walking up and down on it." And the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, who fears God and turns away from evil? He still holds fast his integrity, although you incited me against him to destroy him without reason." So he is saying, like, the story is setting it up as like God is well pleased with Job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you notice while you were out and about on the earth how awesome Job is? Even though you kind of incited me to go after him, he still held his integrity. He's pretty awesome, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And Satan answered the Lord and said, "Skin for skin, all that man has he will give for his life. But stretch out your hand and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse you to your face." And the Lord said to Satan, "Behold, he is in your hand, only spare his life." So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and struck Job with loathsome sores from the sole of his feet to the crown of his head. And he took a piece of broken pottery with which to scrape himself while he sat in the ashes. Then his wife said to him, "Do you still hold fast to your integrity? Curse God and die."
Oh, honey.
But he said to her, "You speak as one of the foolish women would speak. Shall we receive good from God, and shall we not receive evil?" And all this Job did not sin with his lips. I think that She is the voice of the world on that.
Mm.
Like, or of Satan. I think that that is a moment that you can connect in reality to those thoughts in your head when you're going through something hard.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Job's wife representing Satan's discouragement
Mm-hmm.
during their time of trial.
Mm-hmm.
So have you guys ever experienced a trial that's hard and the thoughts in your head are telling you to think this way about it and to do this about it, and they're not wholesome good thoughts? Right. Well, you can now think of that as the Job's wife commentary or Satan's commentary. We'll just go there. And it's not good. He says, you speak as one of the foolish women which speak. So it's foolish to believe the lies of Satan,
Mm-hmm.
right? The discouragement of Satan. It's foolish to disbelieve God, and it's foolish to distrust God. Now, when Job's 3 friends heard of all this evil that had come upon him, they came each from his own place. They made an appointment together to come show him sympathy and comfort him. So they have good intentions, right?
Mm-hmm.
We love our bro. We're going to go and comfort him. When they saw him from a distance, they did not recognize him. They raised their voices and wept. They tore their robes and sprinkled dust on their heads toward heaven. They sat with him on the ground 7 days and 7 nights, and no one spoke a word to him, for they saw that his suffering was very great. So what good friends.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome friends.
And then
At this part, he's been suffering for a while.
mm-hmm.
It's interesting to see the different layers of things that you're attached to. There's a lot of like attachment factors here. You're attached to your children.
Mm-hmm.
More than anything else in the world, you're attached to your children.
Mm-hmm.
You're attached to your wealth. You're attached to your physical health, right? These are attachments that we have in this mortal realm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all of it's taken away, and you start to wonder why you're even here. Everything that I'm attached to is gone. Why should I even be here? Like, you are now at a level where you're questioning the point of living, because it would seem that the point of living would be attachment to things that you care about. After this, Job opened his mouth and cursed the day of his birth. And Job said, "Let the day perish on which I was born, and the night that said a man is conceived. Let that day be darkness. May God above not seek it, nor light shine upon it. Let gloom and deep darkness claim it. Let clouds dwell upon it. Let the blackness of the day terrify it. That night, let thick darkness seize it. Let it not rejoice among the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of the months. Behold, let that night be barren. Let no joyful cry enter it. Let those curse it who curse the day, who are ready to rouse up Leviathan. Let the stars of its dawn be dark. Let it hope for light but have none, nor see the eyelids of the morning. Because it did not shut the doors of my mother's womb, nor hide trouble from my eyes. Why did I not die at birth, come out from the womb and expire? Why did the knees receive me, or why the breast that I should nurse? For then I would have lain down and been quiet. I would have slept, then I would have been at rest, with kings and counselors of the earth who built ruins for themselves, with princes who had gold, who filled their houses with silver. Or why was I not as a hidden stillborn child, as infants who never see the light? There the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary are at rest. There the prisoners are at ease together. They hear not the voice of the taskmaster. The small and the great are there, and the slave is free from his master. Why is light given to him who is in misery, and life to the bitter in soul, who long for death but it comes not, and dig for it more than for hidden treasures, who rejoice exceedingly and are glad when they find the grave? Why is light given to a man whose way is hidden, whom God has hedged in? For my sighing comes instead of my bread, my groanings are poured out like water. For the thing that I fear comes upon me, and what I dread befalls me. I am not at ease, nor am I quiet. I have no rest, but trouble.
So he spent 7 days composing that.
Well,
He's going through a rough patch.
have you guys ever had this depth of discouragement?
Nice. I have.
Sorry to hear that. Job's friends suggest in the other chapters that we're not reading
Because it's sad.
that God was punishing him. So what problems do you see with this idea that God was punishing him?
Well, it's not for his friends to say.
Okay, so they're casting judgment. Well, is God punishing Job?
No,
Well,
he's testing Job.
he's allowing Satan to attack him.
Why?
He's
Because of
testing
something
Job.
because of something that Job did?
No.
Right. So he's not punishing him.
Right. But he's allowing Satan to attack him.
He's testing.
Does that mean that he's retracted his protection?
Well, he told Satan not to. The first time he said, "Don't don't hurt Job, but you can hurt his stuff.
Mhm.
And then he said, you can hurt Job, but don't kill him. So we talked yesterday about how he is in control of the situation. He's allowing certain things to happen,
Right.
but he's not gone. He is overseeing everything and allowing certain things to happen. So why, if he's not punishing Job, why is he letting this happen?
He's testing him.
And what is the point of a test on this earth? Is it just to be like, that like when in games they're like, you have to go and kill this guy and steal his drugs, and then you can be in the game because we're testing your loyalty to see if you'll stay loyal to us. So we're just having you do these things. Is it like that?
No.
It's not like it.
What's the point of God's tests?
To improve us,
To improve us?
make us think.
To help us.
Okay. How does it help us?
We'll have the experience.
We'll be in the know.
We'll be able to use the information and knowledge and wisdom and strength that we gain from that hard time to help us in the future, help those around us in their earthly journey. Because we've leveled up because of experience.
So, what is it that allows you to gain wisdom and knowledge and strength from suffering?
Faith and endurance.
Yeah, well, you're going to hold that inside you, but what's the power that transforms all of the suffering into power?
There's a word for it.
Ah, there's a person.
Oh. Jesucristo?
Yes. I think that we lose sight of the power of the atonement and that is the center of power that we access in all of this stuff. We get bogged down in our worldly affliction.
It's the Christian 101.
We get bogged down in our worldly afflictions and we get really hyper focused on ourselves because we get to this acute point of pain where all you can think about is the pain.
Our prophet literally said the answer is always Jesus.
It's like if I were to come up to you and just grab your skin on the back of your arm and just pinch as hard as I could, would you be thinking about that pain in your arm, or would
Yeah.
you be thinking about the thing you were thinking about before I came up and did that?
The pain in the arm.
Pain in the arm.
Stop it. Get some help.
What would your immediate desire be in that moment
To scream.
to
Well-
make it stop, right?
To turn and see who's pinching me and then act accordingly.
To make it stop.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of your focus is going to be on the pain that you're experiencing,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of your desire is going to be on making it stop,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is the worldly experience of ouch, stop it.
But you know what? What's helped me? I think about something else, and because on a hike, it was uphill. I get really tired, and my feet start aching a lot. I just make up DuckTales stories,
Okay.
and it makes it better.
Yeah. So you're not hyperfixating on the pain. Right. You have something else to focus on. So if the pain won't go away, if you sit there going, stop it, doesn't make it go away. You do have, wisdom would say to think of something else, right?
Mhm.
Well, not only can you think of something else, but you do have access to a power that will give you extra strength and ability to endure what you're experiencing in your Savior,
Mm-hmm.
in the atonement.
Mhm.
And I think that that's where the world falls down, is they forget about Jesus. They forget about the atonement. And they forget about, with Job here, this is Old Testament times, right? Jesus hasn't done the atonement yet. I'm sure he's been taught about the atonement. If he understands who God is and how it works, I'm sure he has been taught about the future atonement. But it's I don't know if they practice, turning to Jesus and his atonement.
Mm-hmm.
What they practiced was sacrifice in the temple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when Jesus came and sacrificed himself, then we could call on that power that came from his atonement, from that sacrifice, right? So we have that power available to us. Jesus already paid for this, so we can give it to him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it is God's will for us to continue to be pinched in the arm, he gives us power to endure,
Mm-hmm.
and he gives us comfort. He helps us distract our minds or whatever is necessary. He helps us endure it if we ask him to.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How many people ask him to?
Not many.
Not many.
Not a whole lot.
So part of the problem with this idea that God is punishing Job is that Job did not
He didn't do anything.
do anything that deserved punishment. But he is allowing him to experience this world in a way that will deepen his
Understanding.
understanding and wisdom, but his spiritual strength as well.
Mhm.
His spiritual connection to God and his spiritual personal strength. So if you feel unequal to something right now, I'll never be able to do that. Just trust in God's plan for you and believe that you will be strengthened over time if you turn to him in your trials. He'll give you the power to overcome. You'll be healed, you'll be empowered, and you will continue on with a greater power than you once had. And trust in that process. And if you get to a point where you're like Job, where he's cursing the day he was born, he like before that he was really faithful. He knew where every good thing came from. But he was brought to a point of such suffering that he cursed the day that he was born. He didn't curse God, but he cursed that he even had to go through this. Right? And there are going to be times where you're brought to that breaking point where you thought you had faith. You thought you understood these things. You thought that you could not be broken. But then you go to a place of such suffering that you go, I question my whole existence. I question the point of this. Like you get to that point. Just remember that if you turn to Jesus, there is an ending to this suffering and there is a glorious experience waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just hold on through it, it will come. Well, let's see what Job has to say to his friends.
Then Job answered and said, No doubt you are the people, and wisdom will die with you. But I have understanding as well as you. I am not inferior to you. Who does not know such things as these? I am a laughingstock to my friends. I, who called to God, and he answered me. A just and blameless man, am a laughingstock. In the thought of one who is at ease there is contempt for misfortune. It is ready for those whose feet slip.
In the thought of one who is at ease, there's contempt for misfortune. I've been afflicted with a lot of health stuff. My whole life I've been afflicted. What it taught me, by the time I was, decades into life, I came to the understanding that I'm now a compassionate person instead of a judgmental person because of my trials. Because when I would go through trials, I would have Job's friends show up all the time. They would come and kind of like pick me while I was down. And I would get really upset and I'd be like, what is their problem? I hate them. But after it went on for decades, I came to the understanding through God that I should be grateful for the things I've gone through because they taught me compassion. They
Right?
taught me how to have compassion for people who are suffering and who don't show up the way that you think they should. It's usually because of some kind of suffering.
Love and compassion.
Compassion makes me from me to you to me exactly what God wants to see.
So it's one thing to think I love all of my brothers and sisters in Christ, but it's another thing to work with them. And so we went on vacation and I forgot to get a sub, like trying to get the animals, like people to take care of our property and our animals and get people in here and pack up and get everything ready to go. On my list of things to do was to get a sub in my primary class, and I forgot to do it. I never forget, and I forgot. One time. I have not showed up one time in 15 years. And I can guarantee you that the people at church who were affected by that had some pretty upset feelings towards me. Because it's annoying to have a teacher not show up.
And I'll tell you.
Yeah, they're just not there. And I understand that. But I also know that the level of stress I was under made me bedridden for a day and a half. And it was more than I could do to get ready to leave. And it was super stressful for your father and I, more than usual, because of the animals. And I know that that's what I was going through. They do not know what I was going through. And I guarantee you that there are some people hating on me because of it right now. And I know that people fall short for a lot of reasons. And I now know to have compassion instead of contempt when people are falling short. And even if it is a personality defect or an attitude or a wrong belief or whatever, they probably are that way for a reason. And it's not healthy. And so from all of my experiences dealing with people, I love all my brothers and sisters in Christ, but then I go to church and I feel judged and hated. So how do I not hate them for that? You know? How do I not have contempt for all these judgmental people who say they love Jesus and love his children? Well, I remember when I was like that. And I remember I was like that because I hadn't suffered what they had suffered and had compassion. And so I get it more now. And it's a natural human thing to have contempt for people who fall short. But if you're not coming out of a suffering experience with greater compassion for mankind, then you need to reflect more on the experience
Mm-hmm.
and have a little more grace for the people around you.
The tents of robbers are at peace, and those who provoke God are secure, who bring their God in their hand. But ask the beasts, and they will teach you, the birds of the heavens, and they will tell you, or the bushes of the earth, and they will teach you, and the fish of the sea will declare to you. Who among all these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this? In his hand is the life of everything living and the breath of all mankind. Does not the ear test words as the palate tastes foods? Wisdom is with the aged, and understanding in length of days.
Like it's true, all of it. You know, I can't even add to that.
With God are wisdom and might. He has counsel and understanding. If he tears down, none can rebuild. If he shuts a man in, none can open. If he withholds the waters, they dry up. If he sends them out, they overwhelm the land. With him are strength and sound of wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. He leads counselors away stripped. The judges he makes fools. He looses the bonds of kings and binds a waistcoat on their hips. He leads priests away stripped and overthrows the mighty. He deprives of speech those who are trusted and takes away the discernment of the elders. He pours contempt on princes and looses the belts of the strong. He uncovers the deeps out of darkness and brings deep darkness to light. He makes nations great and he destroys them. He enlarges nations and leads them away. He takes away understanding from the chiefs of the people of the earth and makes them wander in trackless waste. They grope in the dark without light, and he makes them stagger like a drunken man.
So I think what this very strong language is depicting is that our wisdom is as nothing to God.
Mhm.
Like something that I'm finding the older I get is that all of my opinions are basically garbage. I think I know, but I do not know. So every time I come into a situation, I'm getting more and more humbled by my life experience and more humbled by being wrong. And seeing God's wisdom in how things play out. And so my big effort is to turn to God and seek his wisdom rather than saying, I know what to do. I know what's best. This is how it should be done. Because there are so many people who are suffering from different ways, who need different things. We're all individuals in this circumstance. And I don't actually know what the right thing is for this specific circumstance. I can theorize on a theoretical right and wrong. But when it comes to actually doing what is right or actually believing what is true here, I need God's wisdom. I am not the creator of truth and right. I have to turn to him. And so the older I get, the more I know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I know I need him to guide me in all of these things. And I think that's what I get from that chapter is that like God is the author of all of this and he understands everything. And who am I to come in and be like, this is what I think? There was one time where the church officially changed their principle on something. And I was like, I think that's stupid.
What was it?
It had something to do with LGBT members, like letting them be baptized at a certain time, or if it was some policy. I can't remember what it was. And I was like, well, this is what I think, and they're making a mistake. And I can't remember how it came to me. If I was praying or if God just...
You feel like a heavenly penny bouncing off your head? Because I've had that happen before.
He said, like, the words came into my mind. Don't worry, I got this. You don't have to worry about the church. It's my church. I'll take care of it. And I was just like, oh, I felt so dumb. I was like, I thought I knew better. I thought that I knew better. And I didn't realize I thought that way until that came into my mind. So Job continues, still I will hope in God. Would you continue?
Behold, my eye has seen all this, my ear has heard and understood it. What you know, I also know. I am not inferior to you. But I would speak to the Almighty, and I desire to argue my case with God. As for you, you whitewash with lies. Worthless physicians are you all.
That is how it feels to come into somebody else's life and be like, this is what you should do. I know what a worthless physician feels like. I've gone into many doctors' offices and had a worthless physician try to tell me what to do. And I know for a fact that it's wrong. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have felt like a worthless physician in other people's lives.
Mhm.
And now I'm more humble. And I'm like,
Sometimes it feels when people try to solve your problems for you and tell you why you have your problems. I know they're trying to help, but it kind of feels like they walk in as like, oh, you have gingivitis, time for toenail surgery.
Yep.
Oh, that you would keep silent, and it would be your wisdom. Hear now my argument, and listen to the pleadings of my lips. Will you speak falsely for God and speak deceitfully for him? Will you show partiality toward him? Will you plead the case for God? Will it be well with you when he searches you out? Or can you deceive him as one deceives a man? He will surely rebuke you, if in you seek to show partiality.
If in secret.
If in secret you show partiality.
So if he will surely reprove you if you do secretly accept persons. So this is another thing that is an interesting human dynamic where, like, okay, so Brad Pitt married Angelina Jolie.
Did he?
Okay, so I'm going to give you some celebrity history here. He was married to Jennifer Aniston of Friends fame. You know who she is?
No.
She's Rachel from Friends.
Oh.
So when I was about your age, they got married, and it was a huge deal.
And you were super jealous.
No, he'd already bashed Mormons at that point, so
Okay.
he was out of my heart. But they got married, huge deal.
Mm.
And she's only famous for Friends, but she's also famous for being Jennifer Aniston from Friends.
Mm.
And so it was just like the biggest deal. And they were married, la la la. Oh my gosh, she doesn't want to have kids, but he does. There's problems in paradise, la la la. She's like, why do I have to have kids to be a woman? La, la, la. And then he does a movie with Angelina Jolie, who is famously like,
Tigress.
yeah, she's just an interesting lady.
She's Tigress?
Mhm. She was an ambassador for something to help other countries with their children. I can't remember. And on these ambassador trips, she came across orphans, and her loving heart. I mean, she might be kind of a degenerate sexually, but she was very publicly that. But she has a very nurturing, compassionate mother heart. So as she would go on these trips, these ambassador trips to other countries, she would come across these orphans and adopt them.
Mhm.
She's like, I am going to take you and take care of you. So she had like 3 or 4 kids that she had adopted at that point. I don't know, maybe a couple. She maybe had like 2 kids that she had adopted.
Sounds like an interesting documentary.
She was married to another actor. Guys, celebrities are the weirdest. He was living with a woman who was engaged to, and she went off to do a movie. And while she was gone, he married Angelina Jolie.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were living together, and while she was just off at work, he went and married Angelina Jolie, and they were super gross in public. But then she started adopting children, and he was like, I don't want to do that. So she divorced him. So she's single with these adopted kids. And she goes and does a movie with Brad Pitt. Well, he meets the incomparable Angelina Jolie, who is a mothering woman who wants to have 1 million kids. And they fall in love with each other. And so he divorces Jennifer Aniston, famously. Everyone hates him now. But he marries Angelina Jolie. They adopt some more kids. They have 3 of their own. They have like 6 kids together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't marry her for a long time, but they did all of that together and then eventually got married. Everybody still loves Brad Pitt, right? Years go by. The kids are grown to like teenagers, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are getting a divorce. What's going on? All of the celebrity-obsessed people are following them, trying to dig into it, like figure out what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And they come across one little statement of Angelina Jolie saying, I didn't like how abusive he was to the children. And so, like, they were like, was he having an affair with his co-star on this film? La, la, la. And the only thing that they could find was he was abusive to the kids. And there was a few stories about how he did this and this and this. And that was all they could find. But it was said by her that was the reason she was divorcing him.
Macho Man abused his tigress babies.
Sounds like it. Sounds like he was abusive.
Macho Man abused his tigress babies.
And it turns out he was an alcoholic and would abuse his kids. People still love Brad Pitt. He was an abusive alcoholic, and they still love him. You rebuke if in secret, he will surely rebuke you if in secret you show partiality. That's what that makes me think of.
What does it?
Some people allow others to get away with crap because they're partial to them.
Because you're Brad Pitt.
I just saw like that popped in my head because I just saw on my feed another video of Brad Pitt saying, because then he got sober. It's like he got a divorce, he found Jesus, he got sober, and then nah, you know. And there's another video, I'm not sober anymore, blah blah, blah. And I was like, I mean, everyone's still gonna love him. Go to every movie he makes. So if you rebuke somebody for showing up to church in sneakers and jeans, and when they get hit by a car on their way out of church, go, should have come to church in your suit. And then you watch Brad Pitt abuse his kids and be an alcoholic, and you're like, well,
He's Brad Pitt.
take all my money, Brad.
What am I gonna do? He's Brad Pitt.
Right? God knows what you have going on in your heart, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not saying you should judge everyone equally. It's more like saying don't rebuke those who are suffering for the decisions that they're making. Just try to support them. Now, obviously, the rebuke should come of an abusive alcoholic husband, right?
Mhm.
We should stop that.
Got it.
But like Angelina Jolie was like, we're getting a divorce if you're going to be like that, right?
Mhm.
She put her foot down. She stopped it, right? That's okay.
Okay.
If you're married to somebody who is breaking their marriage covenants by abusing somebody in your family and they won't stop, it's okay to rebuke them. It's okay to stop it.
To divorce them?
If they won't, well, God knows. There are people who stay married because God's like, just hang in there. It'll get better. But there are people who God's like, he will not change as long as he's with you. Go ahead.
He's not gonna leave you in a situation that won't get better.
He's not going to make you suffer if there's no light at the end, right?
Mhm.
All right. So that's what that one means to me. Continue, please.
Will not his majesty terrify you, and the dread of him fall upon you? Your maximums are proverbs of
Is-
ashes.
Maxims. Do you know what a maxim is?
Yes.
Try again.
Your maxims. Your maxims are proverbs of ashes, your defenses are defenses of clay. Let me have silence, and I will speak, and let come on me what may. Why should I take my flesh in my teeth, and put my life in my hand? Though he slay me, I will hope in him. Yet I will argue my ways to his face. This shall be my salvation, that the godless shall not come before him. Keep listening to my word, and let my declaration be in your ears. Behold, I have prepared my case, I know that I shall be in the right. Who is there who will contend with me? For then I would be silent and die. Only grant me two things, then I will not hide myself from your face. Withdraw your hand from me, and let not dread of you terrify me. Then call, and I will answer, or let me speak, and you reply to me. How many are my iniquities and my sins? Make me know my transgression and my sin. Why do you hide your face and count me as your enemy? Will you frighten a driven leaf and pursue dry chaff? For you write bitter things against me, and make me inherit the iniquities of my youth. You put my feet in the stocks, and watch all my paths. You set a limit for the soles of my feet. Man wastes away like a rotten thing, like a garment that is moth-eaten.
So something that is hard also, and I experience this in generationally, is that people who watch you grow up see what kind of person you are your whole life, and it's hard for some families to not hold the sins of their youth against them as they grow.
Mm-hmm.
So I could be a 40-something-year-old woman, and I'm still being treated like I was that 12-year-old who did all that stupid stuff and had all those problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is something that you have to let go in other people as they are developing and you watch them develop. Do not hold them to who they were. Do not hold them back. Do not keep them from growing. You know, don't say this is who you are and this is how I'm going to treat you and expect you to be because of who you are. So Job was like, you guys leave me alone and quit trying to hold me back.
It's
right?
not your job to judge me, okay?
But he said, I'm going to go before the Lord. I hope and trust in him. I know who he is. I'm going to hope and trust in him. And I'm going to go to him and talk with him and be like, what did I do wrong? You know, he's going to contend with the Lord, he says, which means,
I don't know what I did. How can I fix it?
well, he's like, I know I didn't do anything wrong
Mhm.
because he didn't. He knows what righteousness is, and he did it. So he's like, I'm going to go and wrestle with the Lord because this is between him and me. And I've done that where I've gone to God and been like, am I doing something wrong? Why is this happening? And God's like, it's not you, it's them. And just hold tight. There have been times when he's like, yeah, definitely change. You're doing something wrong.
I don't know, it's kind of frustrating. Sorry, it's kind of frustrating whenever he says, sorry, this isn't for you. That this is a trial for them.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's
But this needs to happen for them. There's not much you can do about it.
well, it is kind of upsetting, but then you go, I pledged myself to service to God, and this is part of it. And he rewards those who serve him with greatness,
Mhm.
And I trust in that. I trust that I'm engaged in a good work. And I love my brothers and sisters, and I know that if they're being tested, it's for their good. And I am being a part of it. It is an unsavory part of it where I'm receiving the painful part so that they can learn something. But I am willing to experience that. So, what did Job know about God that enabled him to keep trusting him?
That it wouldn't do anything that would not be good for Job in the end. He knew that everything that God did
Was to help.
was going to be good
Mhm.
because God is incapable of evil.
So, what do you know about God that helps you face challenges?
He's loving. Everything that he does is for benefit of people and me.
I think those are two very important things. He's loving, and everything is for good.
Mhm.
If it's from God, it will end in good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other thing is that the atonement is available to you to use as a tool to get through everything.
Mhm.
Don't forget about it. Use it. Don't make it a waste of an effort, right? Actually use it. All right. I love you guys.
Love you, Mom.